Hi there. Many women are asking why is it that when a woman has sex with multiple individuals, multiple guys, she is seen as a whore, whereas when a guy has multiple female partners, he's seen as a stud. Well, I'm going to try to answer to this question by referring to arguments from demographics, from biology, or quoting the principle of offer and demand, and last but not least, going a little bit through anthropology. Number one, demographics. So what you're looking at is the population pyramid of Romania as in 2016. And I invite you to look especially at the age interval from 15 years old to 50 years old. And that's because females are considered to be fertile in that age interval. Now, what's also particular about this age interval, and also from 0 to 15 years old, is that, as you can notice, on every age slot, males are slightly more numerous than women are. Meaning that, of course, you will have an increased competition for a partner on men's side in comparison with the female side. Not only that, but women also have certain preferences in men. Generally speaking, they do tend to look for a partner that's who is taller than them, who is 4 to 5 years older than them, and who has a similar and or higher social status or income. And if he doesn't have one, then he has a perspective of having one. Therefore, competition between men for a female partner is slightly increased in comparison with the competition between females for a male partner. The biological argument would be something like, how many children can a woman provide during 1 year? The answer would be almost certain 1, and that's because you have 9 months for pregnancy for a normal one, of course, and 2 or 3 months for her to recover before having another pregnancy. The NHS reported in 2011 that for every 65 delivered pregnancies, you had 64 delivered pregnancies with only 1 child, whereas the 65th had twins or triplets. I don't know if there were cases with more than 3 children. On the other hand, you have men. Well, how many times are they capable of ejaculating in order to provide their part, so to speak, in conceiving a child? Well, roughly I would say that's around 3 times per day. It goes higher for teenagers. I think it reaches 8 or 10 times per day, but it decreases with age. Therefore, you multiply 3 times per day with 365 times, you get 1,095 times. Let's round it up to 1,000 just for the sake of the argument and to calculate a little easier. So it wouldn't be exaggerated to say that if you have a man alone with 1,000 women, if the timing is correct and if he gets a bit lucky, and of course all the women are fertile, then he is able to impregnate, if not all of them, all of 1,000, then most of them. Now, let's consider the product of the reproductive system of a man, namely his sperm, as a good that you can buy and sell freely. Let's also consider the product of the female's reproductive system, namely the egg, also as another good that you can buy and sell freely. Now, according to the law of demand and offer, given that a male can provide easily multiple products in a large amount, and the female can provide a very little number or a very little quantity of products, it would make the product provided, or the good provided that by the women definitely more valuable, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 times more valuable than the goods provided by men. Now, going further with the anthropological reason. Well, since the dawn of humanity, societies around the world, from different territories, regions, different cultures, different races, you name it, decided that it would be a good thing to make a taboo out of sex outside marriage, whether we're discussing about sex before marriage or sex that a woman has with another man while being married. That's easy to explain in the sense that you can have a pregnancy, despite being a bit harder for a woman to have a child, that would mean, in the first case, that you would have a single mom with a child, which let's say 200 years ago, 500 years ago, 2000 years ago, and so on and so forth, would have been more difficult for both for the woman and for the mom and her child than it would be today. You didn't have a healthcare system, you didn't have a social system, and many other facilities or possibilities to get help from the state by the woman compared to what you have today. Also, in case that the woman would have had sex, say, a week or two, or maybe even a month before marriage with another man, and then she would get married, there are very high chances that you would have that husband would actually get to raise the child of another man. That's why you had the rule that the bride has to be a virgin. So, given the fact that men, as I said, are, say, for 100 females, we have around 105 males, given the preferences of females, and also given the ability to impregnate other partners that a man has, compared to the ability of giving birth to a child during a 1 year period that a female has, male have to be very, very competitive among each other, or with other male, in order to get a partner. Meaning that they will have to be healthy, they will have to be, say, well-read, for example, they would have to have a good job, good status, a certain height, a certain age, and so on and so forth. Therefore, if you are competing with others, it means that you are better than at least some of them. Maybe you're not the alpha male, but you're definitely better than some of them. Now, everyone who is in a competition, that actually matters, of course, will be appreciated if he gets on top. If he gets, say, at least the first places, or at least the first half, or at least if he gets better than some other competitors of his. That's why I believe that. If that's the case for a man who hooks up with another woman, but if he manages to do this with multiple women, then he's a multiple winner, so to speak. Therefore, you usually get to appreciate a winner. Now, whether that's moral or not, is not up to me to decide this. Your judgment. In comparison with this, if you have a woman that has actually something that's very valuable and she gives it away very easy, I think that it's somehow normal. Sure, it's her choice, it's her business if she's not married, or she doesn't have a boyfriend or whatever. But generally speaking, it's her business. But as well, it's also, I don't think that it's that demanding from society to take care of something of something very valuable that you have. And I would say that this is basically the main difference that between a woman and a man when it comes to multiple partners. This is why a woman is considered to be a whore by society if she has multiple partners. What does that mean? It depends by society, because if you live in a family of neo-Protestants, for example, if you're not a virgin at the wedding, then that's not a very good thing. In other societies, say, I don't know, the Western world, you can have 10 partners and no one would bat an eye. But anyway, the number is not important, but the idea of multiple partners and why a woman is considered a whore, whereas a man is actually considered an achiever. However, please bear in mind the fact that whenever a man is having multiple partners, he's not actually banging another guy. He's having sex with other women. Therefore, it's somehow like a hand washes another hand. If a man couldn't be like a Don Juan if women wouldn't get in bed with him. Therefore, I think on one hand, at first sight, society might seem to be hypocritical about these two cases. But I think that it's understandable why that's happening. As I said, women have a very, very valuable resource. That's the availability of their reproductive system, of their fertile reproductive system, as I kept mentioning. Whereas men have to compete to get a partner more than women do. Of course, if a woman wants a certain partner, then yeah, the competition gets rougher with other women. But generally speaking, it's easier for a woman to get a partner than it is for a man. So that would be my explanation. I hope it helped. I'm not saying this the only reason, but I was, as you could understand, I was focusing on the biological part, the reproductive system of both men and women. And given that, I try to put some meat on the argument and go further the analogy of the key and the door lock. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. As I said previously, I will try to upload one video per week, or maybe even often, depending on my time. If you enjoyed it, please share it and subscribe to the channel. Till next time, take care. Cheers.